How's it going, everybody? And welcome to another session of the Let's Talk Show by Interlingua. My name is Mike, and I am your host as usual. And in this particular occasion, this little device is going to be a gateway for every one of us because nowadays, a phone is an essential. You can practically have all your life in this little pieces of plastic, glass, metal, etc. You can work through them. You can have your friendships inside, or you can enter into a whole new world thanks to social media. Nowadays, every single person has a social network, from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, etc., etc., etc. But can we just use it for recreation, for spending the time sharing memes, or do they have another use? Can we create content with them? And we will answer that question right away because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have two guests who actually spend quite some time on social media, but not to waste time, but to create content and to give orientation to some people and also give some information. You'll see what I mean. Now let's bring them out. Making her return to the Let's Talk show, let's bring out Marcia first. And
Um,
hi, sweetie. How's it going? Everybody okay? Everything okay?
Everything good here. How about you?
I'm cool. I'm delighted and glad to see you again around here. Now, for all our viewers, for the first time in the Let's Talk show, we have a guest who likes to stay anonymous. We will call him by his pseudonym, which happens to be also his session in TikTok. And I'm referring to Pirata Urbano. Where are you, bro?
Hey Mike, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you very much for having me, man.
No, man, thank you so much for participating. And trust me, your secret is safe with me.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah, yeah. First of all, guys, thank you so much for participating. Marcia, thank you so much for returning here. And
Thank you.
wow, let's start with very simple, from the very simple to the most complicated and complex stuff. First of all, the bottom line, the evident, the obvious, social media. How much time of, let's say, a day do you spend on your social media? Marcia.
More than I should, actually. Like, I'm constantly checking them, and it's like kind of like a very interesting, but then it absorbs. I mean, I think that I'm actually a bad example because I spend too much time on it. So it's like sometimes I even have to delete my apps that I mean just to keep on continuing doing my things. But I would say that I spend kind of a lot of time into them. But it's also because of good causes. You know what I mean? What we're going to go deeper to talk today. So it's not just crazy like that, but it's about many other things that we will talk about in this in this show.
Of course, of course, of course. You said that more than you should, but then what do they have that they keep you interested, that they keep you like logged in?
Very simple discussions, helping people, sharing things, you know. In my case, I would say that, for example, I talked about this before. I am in many groups of people like that share recipes, or people that are not from from the city, so they are asking for things, or like looking for rooms or something like that. So then you're like, hey, I have a friend who's renting a room, or hey, like I can connect you with this, or even the buy and sell groups too. Like, hey, I'm looking right now for a water filter. Can you help me find a cheaper one? So like,
Oh, So it's basically for a cause or with a good intention, not mainly to like for gossiping or to
Okay,
share funny
that too,
content.
of course. But I'm trying to do myself a favor. I mean, it's also for gossiping. It's also for talking. It's also for, like, I don't know, those kinds of superficial things. But I also do these other things, and I bet that maybe other people too.
For example, what has been the latest you have you have gone to bed because of being surfing through social media?
Ah, like gossiping. Oh, this whole Adam Levine thing with, I don't remember her name, but his wife and the cheating and everything. So, like, scrolling around on Twitter. Oh, you didn't know that?
No,
Okay,
no,
it
I
was
didn't.
kind of a big issue. Yeah, but like everyone was stating their own opinion, so that's what I mean. If you ask me to be honest, and if you ask me to be honest and tell you what has kept me like in bed scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, it has been that I think it was yesterday. That was my very
La-
honest
Last
reply.
night, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Already. But you enjoy it. So that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, and yeah, it's like kind of like sharing your opinion, seeing what other people have to say, having different points of view, whatever, you know. That's how Twitter works. And everyone has something to say. But uh-huh.
I want to get into that in a few moments. Save that thought. Save that thought.
I
In the
will.
meantime, let me talk to Pirata Urbano and ask him the same question. How much time do you spend in a regular day in your life? How much time do you spend in your social media, bro?
Yeah, I think that what Marcy said, it's right more than it should. I think that that happens to everybody nowadays, but
Yeah.
no, I think that, I mean, out of 12 hours in a day, I would say probably 6 to 8 hours, just as a bare minimum.
Hmm.
And I mean, most of the times, yeah, the way I use it is just to get, updates and stay informed on news and friends and family members. And, the good thing about social media now, or like, yeah, like these apps, like I don't know, Facebook, for example, is here in Mexico. We just had the earthquake a couple days ago, and I think it's a good way for you to stay in touch with people, make sure that everybody's fine. Because, like Marcia said, everybody has something to say, and usually when this happens, everybody just start posting like, "Hey, I'm okay." Just an update on the status, and I think it's a good way to stay in touch with people, to stay in touch with, I don't know, things that are happening around the world like 2 seconds ago, and you get to see that. That's usually what keeps me awake, and funny videos. That and funny videos, yeah.
True, me too.
Like for example, just like Marcia, did you stay up late checking out your websites or your social media last night?
Nah, no, I think I have a pretty good control on that because I have two kids that wake me up really early in the morning.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, definitely, I have to go to bed early.
It's a good thing that you mentioned that to me because that I would like to speak with. I would like to speak about a matter related to kids. Can I ask first, how old are your kids,
Sure.
Pirata?
I have a daughter. She is almost 12. No,
Okay.
she's almost 13 now.
All right.
And I have a son that will turn 10 next month.
Okay. The thing that I want to get from here related to your case is this. I have a dear friend of mine. She has a son. Her son recently turned 11.
Hmm.
But the what caught my attention is that she doesn't let him to have a Facebook page,
Yeah.
and he only has he has a restricted use of WhatsApp. Like she only lets him use it for his family and some friends, but that's it. I'm telling you this to ask you if do you let your sons to have a social media site?
No, just like her, just like a friend, I don't let them have any social media. The only thing they have is WhatsApp. But yeah, it's controlled, and we have this. There's an incredible app that is called Family Link from Google. So it
Okay.
lets you keep control on their mobile devices. So you can put schedules on the phones. So usually, what I do is I give them schedules like no more than 3 hours a day. So they have 3 hours. They can use them for whatever they want. They can watch videos on YouTube. They can, I don't know, talk to their friends or family in WhatsApp. They can play video games on it. But after 3 hours, the phone will lock itself and it will not be able to be used until 7 a.m. next day. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely, definitely not.
My friend has her reasons for that. You, as a father, what are yours, if may I ask, with all due respect?
Sure. Yeah, going back to what Marcia said and piggybacking on that, everybody has an opinion. Everybody always has something to say. And unfortunately, social media is not always a pleasant place,
Or
um,
safe.
or safe for that matter. Just like myself, my project is a faceless project, and there's a lot of people out there that um, are not what they seem, mostly in social media. So it definitely represents a a
Threat.
safety hazard for kids mostly.
Of
So
course.
it's a way for us to keep them safe until they come out of an age where they, I mean, not necessarily will be safer, but at least they will have better criteria and will be able to distinguish between a real conversation rather than somebody that is just trying to get something out of them. Um, so yeah, I think that would be like the main reason, just to keep them safe.
Thank you very much for sharing that. You really like gave me another perspective on the matter because I don't have kids, so I mean I could probably go like why or what, but now that you put it that way, I can understand it. I can understand it.
Yeah, having
Thank you so
kids.
much for what?
Yeah, having kids definitely widens up the view you have about the world. So yeah,
And changes a lot about you, right? About about ourselves. You know
yeah,
how we look at the world and how we handle a lot of stuff. It's amazing how this can be also applied to social media, given the fact that it's used every day by everyone. Marcia, you were about to say something, my dear. What was it?
Just something really quick that this just reminds me kind of like what we had to take care of when we were children. Like, don't pick up the phone, don't pick up the phone because you don't know who it could be. Don't speak to strangers. And right now, I feel like for parents who have had to like to parent in social media times, it's become even more difficult because it's not just like supervising that their child doesn't use the phone or things like that or talk to strangers in the street, but it's more like who are you talking to and then having to check on their phones, which is also kind of invasive. So it's like balancing like these things, like not being too invasive towards them but also giving them their freedom, but at the same time it's like being careful who they are talking to. And I think it's actually like a very brave, like a very brave thing to do to parent in social media times, to be honest.
How do you think you would deal with it? Or
Mm.
how do you think you would handle it at
Oh,
some point eventually, Marcia?
at some point, I'm not really sure. I would think on not giving them any phones or anything because I mean until they're a little bit more grown up, as Pirata said at some point, because I don't know. I feel like it's way too risky. Way too risky in the safety and in the matter of safety of security, but then at the same time also because they it's very absorbing. The phone is very absorbing, and I think that we all can agree on that. It takes up a lot of our time, and we get too addicted to it. So I think it would be better to avoid it at some point, but not fully. But I think you know how I mean it, like trying to keep a healthy balance. But I know people who have social media pages for their unborn children sometimes, or for their dogs. It's like that's a little bit too much.
I have friends like that. That they have an Instagram for their dogs, and I
Yeah.
mean, I can I can stop imagining the dog. I mean, of course it's impossible, but I imagine the dog with a selfie stick, like only like taking pictures. I mean, of their food. I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's an interesting yet crazy world, the one we have in the cloud. And now, for this part of the show, let's talk a little about your perspectives, about your opinions on some things that social media get my attention. For instance, do you think that, I mean, of course, we gained communication through social media, we gained knowledge, but do you also think that because of social media, we are missing a lot of stuff as human beings? Pirata.
Yeah, I would say yes. Um, and yeah, I mean, internet will have almost every piece of information of human knowledge that we have so far. And if you go out and ask people a question, like, I don't know, a common knowledge question, it's really hard for people to really remind stuff or to be aware of stuff, even though they have the information in their pocket or at the palm of the hand. Because the way most people use internet and social media is just for entertainment purposes, just watching videos of, I don't know, kids falling or funny cats or just watching the Instagram of this dog, of the neighbor's dog.
Of
And
course.
I think that it definitely keeps us from what's actually happening at the time. There's a phrase that says, "Life is what happens when you're not paying attention," and that actually happened. Like that's one of the main reasons I started putting restrictions on my kids' phones
Okay.
because I was at my wife's parents' house, and they have a really it's like a big house, and it has a lot of space for the kids to play with. And they were just outside riding the bike and skating, and all that good stuff that kids should be doing. And we were inside the house, just having a drink and chatting and all of that. So I said, you know what? It's been probably like 10, 15 minutes since I don't hear anything from the kids. I'm just going to step outside and just peel an eye and make sure that everything is okay. And I was, I mean, I was kind of laughing, but I was angry at the same time because my kid, he was skating down the road, watching the phone at the same time while he was skating. And I was like, dude, I mean, how are you doing that? You're not really seeing what's in front of you. You can you can hit against the car. If it's a car coming your way, you're not gonna be able to see it or skip it or anything. So it got to the point where he was doing any activity, whether he's brushing the teeth, going upstairs, um, just eating his food, whatever. And he always wanted to have a screen in front of him, watching YouTube videos and just staying up to date with like the latest video of his favorite YouTuber. And I was like,
Mm,
dude, exactly that. Everything that is happening around you, it's gonna happen regardless of you paying attention or not. You realizing it's happening or not. So you have to put down the screen at least for a while while you're doing those activities, because not only you're missing stuff, but it will also become dangerous, like skating and watching the phone at the same time.
That was deep, bro. That was deep. Thank you. What
Of
about you,
course.
Marcia? Do you think we are de-learning or getting rid of something as human beings
Like having the
thanks to
internet
social
or
media?
social media.
By social media, for example, let me give you an example.
Mhm.
I think, and this is just my
Your perspective.
perspective, my opinion. I think with the overuse of social media, social skills can decrease. That's my insight. That's what I mean with this question. What about you?
Yeah, and I feel like you're kind of right because I feel like there's many people who don't even know how to interact with. I mean, this is not a criticism, but I see it sometimes. It happens to me as well. That they're like constantly posting memes or anything, and it's like, okay, good. But then, for example, I'm going to be very honest. Like I've never been able to talk to certain people for like platonic friends. Let's call them like that, like platonic friends, and I always wanted to be their friends. But then I added them on social media, and we went to high school together. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to add you. We're not going to talk to each other, but we're going to start liking each other's memes. Like I wouldn't have had the guts to go in front of you and ask you, hey, girl, do you want to be my friend? Because I feel like we think very similar or something like that. But then what did I do? I added them on Facebook, and then now we're liking each other's memes. And now we're just asking each other like, "Hey, do you want to go for coffee or something when we have time?" And it's like, okay, it may not have been the best way of starting the interaction because then it would have been better to stop them when we were at high school and hey, I think we could be friends or something like that instead of just adding them on Facebook and liking each other's memes. It's kind of like an artificial interaction, but then it becomes like a natural, like a actual one. Like, hey, we were friends on Facebook, but now we're real life friends, and this is good, and now we're getting along. Like, we actually go out together or things like that. You know how I mean it?
Yes.
I don't know if that has happened to you, if that has ever happened to you.
Well, sort of. For example, the friend that I was telling you guys about the one who has a little kid,
Hmm.
I met her through Facebook. I met her through Facebook. I mean, I just sent her a request because I mean, eh, we all do this at some point because I liked her picture. And I was like, oh, okay, she's pretty. Let's see what's up. And then we started chatting and everything. Da, 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 da. We used to date at first, but then later she became my friend. And it was crazy because I didn't, at that time, I didn't live here in Mexico. I was in my hometown, like in Guerrero. And it's crazy because right now she's one of the most important people in my life. It's a friend that I love a lot, her kid as well. And it's crazy how everything started through inbox. Like,
Yeah.
I never imagined that because of a social network, because of a website, I could gain people in my life. Because, I mean, this could go like both ways. Unfortunately, I mean, you can either meet someone who's very cool, someone that changes your life, someone that you're very for having later on, but you can also meet very very bad people,
Indeed.
false people, people with bad intentions. So I guess that's one of the dangers that you pirata were referring
Yeah.
to in terms of keeping kids safe. Because I mean, now that I look at it that way, of course, I mean, I imagine that, I mean, I don't want to disturb anybody, but I think this is very accurate or very real. When people create false profiles with with false pictures or from pictures that aren't from themselves, the risk is very high. Like they could like add young ones, they could add kids and interact with them, and then I mean, God forbid, a tragedy might happen. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's like a double-edged sword over here because, like I mentioned earlier, of course it has helped us, and we have gotten a lot of benefit from them related to work, related to communication, related to knowledge. Everybody's connected, but unfortunately, this it's also a gateway for really bad people with bad intentions. Have you guys had, well, if you don't want to like share it, it's okay. I understand, but have you had any bad experiences with this sort of people in your social media, Pirata?
Um, not particularly, but I've I've worked with security awareness for different companies. So I've been working with a couple different companies and financial institutions on just making sure that they are protected from mostly phishing scams, and
Oh,
that's a lot of the type of activities that you would see in social media as well. That is actually part of what we used to discuss with the employees at the companies. That if let's say, for example, you work for, I don't know, HSBC or Banamex or any bank, and on your Facebook profile you put that you are working for that bank, you could get a friendship request from a pretty lady or a really nice looking guy. Um, and they will start talking to you and sweet talking you into giving some details or information about what you do, where you work, and like your daily activities. And it has happened that people will start asking those questions in a way that people doesn't really realize they're giving away that much
Mhm.
information, and then they can actually start um, doing fraudulent activities into the financial institution, whether it's by calling or accessing their database.
okay.
So yeah, that is part of what I've experienced, but not personally.
Oh, well, I hope it stays that way, bro. I really
Hmm.
hope
Like
it stays that way.
people sweet talking to you and like, hey, when's your birthday? Oh my god! And then it's like your birthday comes up, and then they already know your birthday, which is like a key element for like certain security issues. Or they just like, oh my god, yes, is that one on your picture your cousin or something? So you're already giving out a lot of information.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, if somebody already has your name, your date of birth, and where you work at, and connected friends and family, they already have a lot of information about you.
indeed.
Damn. I think I'm a little reckless about my information on social
I think I'm a
media.
little paranoid about it.
Damn. Well, I try to be more careful because now you got me thinking. You got me thinking like,
You have
for
to
example,
think. I mean, huh? No,
in
say
my
it first.
profile I have in my profile I have my information about where I work, so I'm like, but it's like it's for me to people. I mean, whenever I'm doing business outside of my line of work, I mean, when I'm doing business for myself, it's for me to people to take me seriously as a as a professionist.
Hmm.
But I also have my birthday date.
But probably
Oh man, oh man, that's heavy. I should probably control the censorship or limit the reach.
limit the
of my
reach,
posts.
and then also and then also check which friends you have. I mean, I check my friends list every once in a while, and I'm like, I don't even talk to this person anymore. Why am I letting them have this access to my things? So, for example, my posts, I have to be very, very careful to like who are they directed to, because then I'm like, why would I mean, even though we're friends on Facebook, why would I like for you to see this? Or I don't trust you enough. I trust you enough to have you on Facebook, but I don't trust you enough to see my posts. And this is another thing that I wanted to tell you guys, as in, oh my God, everyone has stalked someone at some point, like your crush or like a colleague that you don't like, and it's like, okay, I'm going to make. I mean, I haven't made like fake profiles for that, but it's like, hey, I want to know who this guy that I think my friend is being cheated with is, or something like that. So let's go and see what he does. Let's go and see what she does. Or like, where is it that my boyfriend knows this girl from? And via likes, that's a very common practice everywhere. I think it's not like
And actually, it's actually preferable to do it because, like I said, I mean, how really do we know people we meet through social media? Like, I think this is pretty healthy. Like, I mean, if I had like a friend who meets someone online or through an app, and she goes like, "Hey, I mean, he's a pretty cool guy. He's alright. He's polite and everything." But what is that guarantee? So, I mean, going through their pictures or through their posts, you can really like they can tell a lot from a person, like the way he or she expresses themselves.
or how they
It's
want to
actually a
show
pretty
themselves
exactly,
Yeah.
over
exactly.
there at least.
Or what they want you to believe,
Make you believe.
because
Hmm.
Exactly.
that happens a lot with Instagram. Like there's a lot of videos that talk about that phenomenon, that it's Instagram versus reality.
Definitely.
And you would see like the Instagram version of things, and they will show you a picture or a video of something that looks really nice and really um, I don't know, something that you can look up to. Like I was looking at a video just like that, and they were making a comparison between a video in Greece, and it was just this girl walking down the stairs at Mykonos, the sunset, and it was a beautiful view, and it was just one of those videos um, that you kind of feel jealous that it's not you in that video. It's like, damn, I wish it was me. I'm there. I want to be there. That looks gorgeous. And then they show you like the kind of the behind the
Reality.
scenes, and there's probably 200 people making line to go
Take a
to
picture.
walk down the stairs to take pictures or videos as well. Like 200 people, no kidding.
So it's just like a screen or a reality only for the post.
Correct. Yeah, it looks beautiful in the post,
Mhm.
but it's not as beautiful in real life.
Ah, so basically, we show ourselves the way we want to be seen. Is that what
Exactly.
I'm getting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
How transparent are you guys with your social media? Do you are very reserved, or because in my case, it's what you see is what you get. Like if I post a picture about something that I'm wearing or I am at this place, it's legit. Like I'm like this. I mean, you can like it, you can dislike it. Doesn't matter. This is me. How are you guys in that way, Marcia?
I mean, I try to be I try to be honest, yet at the same time, as an honest, as in this is what I am, but at the same time, I try to be careful. Like, it's like, okay, if I'm showing you something that, like, if I'm posting something to my Instagram stories, for example, it's not an exaggerated version. Actually, I try to keep it as real as possible, but I try to be very careful. For example, I am very careful in the sense of I don't like to show a lot of backgrounds or some things that are recognizable. Because, for example, one day that happened to me with a friend. I told him like, "Hey, I basically know where you live because you let out in one of your stories like a very recognizable kind of thing." So I was like, "You
Mm.
live close by this street," and he's like, "How the hell did you know this?" And I'm like, because if you look it up on Google, then it says that this thing is like close. So yeah, how do you know this?
Red flag.
Right. No, I mean, no. Let me tell you, I told my friend because he posted this, and I think it was on Close Friends, and I told him, "Dude, I am telling you this because I want for you to be safe, and it's better if it's me the one who tells you this than for someone else to give you this information." But from this post that you're having here, I can already tell more or less where you live, and it's the only building that's in front of that thing. So, and then he said like, "Thank you for telling me this. This got me very scared, but thank you." Um, and I said, "Yeah, this is why I try to like post like I don't know like funny things about my everyday or something like that, but I try to be very careful because I mean I may do this with good intentions to keep my friends safe because that's one thing that I really care about, but I don't know if the rest of the people are going to be such attentive to details as I am, and if they are going to use it in a
Mhm.
good way.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. Buy your friend a beer or something to drink. He did a good job then.
Hey, it was
He
me
did
the
a
one
good
who
job.
did it. It was me the one who did it to him. I told him I
Ah,
can tell
you
where you live.
told him. Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I
I am
thought
the
it was
one
from
who
a picture
deserves to
that.
hear.
Oh, you'll get it.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
Okay.
You will. I wish for it. I wish for it. You will.
Hopefully, we can soon. Do you want Pirata or do you want me to ask Pirata like what his insights on that could be? I don't know.
What do you mean?
Um,
Well,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no. What was that, Martin?
Yeah, like I said, I would like to know maybe if I can ask him like what his insights on the same question could be
Oh yeah,
because
Yeah, sure.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, for me, with Piratas Urbanos, is 100% transparent, mostly because of the type of project. It's like Mike said. I mean, what you see is what you get. Usually, the post that I use, I try not to do, these clickbait videos that will post something, and once you click on it, because it sounds or it looks interesting, it's something completely different. No, usually I post information or details or like locations in this case, and yeah, yeah, I just try to be 100% real with that because the way I publish information or the way I give information to people is so that they have all the details, information, and clues that they need so that they can get to the location that I'm sending them to. So I want to be as transparent as possible because at the end of the day, like I said, this is a project that has no face. So they don't really know who's posting information. They don't know who's posting details or who's sending them to a certain location in the city with the promise of them finding money. So it could be whatever. It could be, I don't know, somebody that will be waiting for you and you can get robbed, for example. So I try to be as transparent as possible, let people know that you know what this is what it is. It's not a scam. It's not something that will endanger you. And I try to be real careful at how I share the information as well, and the locations that I use to make sure that I give that same sense of responsibility to people because I don't want to get to the point where people will be, I don't know, damaging sculptures or whatever just to find what I'm hiding.
Okay.
So So yeah, I usually tell them, that if you're going to the location, just be careful, stay aware of the surroundings, just don't be with a phone on the face. Just be aware of the surroundings, and by all means, never, never, never trespass. If you think the money is in a house or something like that, it's not in there. So do not trespass. But yeah, same thing. I think that if you're not careful at what you publish, details, background information, like all of those details can be used in a good or a bad way. Now that you mentioned that scenario with your friend, that you kind of knew where he lived because of the post, it reminded me of it's a documentary in Netflix, something called about "Don't Mess with Cats," I think it's called, or "Cats in Social Media," something like that. And it talks about a guy that used to post videos of himself just doing horrible stuff to cats, like puppies. And people started looking for him and started tracking him through his videos because they thought that if he was escalating type of violence that he was posting in videos until eventually it happened, right? That he did that to a human. And simply by using the videos and the posts and like looking at the background in his room and the background, the lightings, the type of signage that they had of the street, they were able to find exactly the location where he lived, even the apartment number, just by looking at the background. And it was a good thing that they did that because they were able to catch this guy. But at the same time, it gives you an idea that if somebody has the determination of looking at that information and looking it up, they can find you as well.
That goes for all our viewers. Be careful with what you post. You never know how much information you are given. So, now that you also mention it, let's talk about, in this section of the show, about the activities that you guys do in your social media that are more recreational than just to like spend the time. For example, Pirata, in your case, you're a content creator in TikTok, and for all our viewers, his link is at the description of this same video. Go check him out. But to let them know what you are what you're all about, to tell me from what you from where did you from what did you came up with the idea of this project, Piratas Urbanos?
Sure. So I've always had a fascination for treasure hunting, for history, and it always gives me this kind of sense of euphoria when I solve a puzzle or crack a code.
Okay.
But it wasn't until recently that I really decided that probably it was time to explore that side of people, just to see how people will take it, if that will be like a common interest with people. Um, and the whole idea, or what kickstarted the project or the idea, is I would think it's my grandpa. Um, he was hospitalized a couple months ago due to COVID, and he was reacting really well to treatment, and the entire family, like cousins, aunts, grandsons, everybody was really happy because the expectations were really good that he was going to be able to make it out. And we all decided, or we started talking about somehow giving some of that hope or some of that love back to the world. Like being grateful. And we started thinking like, hey, you know what? Probably we could, I don't know, just give food to homeless people, or I don't know, something like that, something to the effects of charity. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. He passed away about a month ago, and that idea of giving back from the entire family like started fading away. But I felt like, or I said to myself, you know what, that should not go to waste, and I decided to do it on my end or the way I like things to go. So I started this project. I started, just trying to give people back something of what I have, at least a little piece of it. So I actually take part of my income and I designate it for the project. So I use the way I do it is basically I have three types of envelopes. It's blue envelopes, yellow envelopes, and a red envelope every season. And I just go ahead and hide the envelopes in a place of the city. And I release a video with a location and with clues for people to solve those clues. And if you're able to solve the clues, you will know exactly where the envelope is hitting. So they can just go out the city, just talking about not using social media that much. It's a way for people as well to go out, not being at the couch or at the sofa or at the house at the bed. So, yeah, they definitely go out and start chasing that money. So usually, like on the last season, season two, I did Mexico City subway. So I started putting envelopes in different stations of the subway, and I would release a picture of the envelope. And like for example, blue envelopes, they don't have a lot of money, but they're really easy to find. So if you look at the video and if you look at the background and
Like the clues.
yeah, like those clues, you will be able to just go ahead and find it. The yellow ones are a little harder to find, and usually the clues are related to the history of the place where the envelope is hitting.
Hmm.
And the red one is the one that has more money of them all, but it's the hardest one to find. The last one I posted had 1,000 pesos, and it took them about a week and a half to crack the puzzle so that they can find it.
Wow.
So you also attach kind of like a I don't know, like some clues to it, or like apart from the location and the pictures or the videos that you take, you also add some clues to it, or how does it work? Because
Yeah.
I'm getting interested in knowing.
Ah, that's
So, for
crazy,
example,
man.
the blue envelopes, I would post a quick video showing where the envelope is hitting. So it will be super clear. Like I don't know, on the corner of a stairwell inside, I don't know, station Pantitlan,
Mhm.
just to say a station, and the video will show where the envelope is hitting and something in the background that will give away the location, and that's it. That one, the blue ones, doesn't really have like clues or anything because they're really easy to find. And usually, I let people know when I'm gonna start posting the clues, so they're already eager and looking into it. So more recently, what has happened is that as soon as I leave an envelope, there's already like 10, 15, 20 people already at the station looking for the envelope and just waiting for the post to come out so that they can go out and grab the envelope.
They're already on the hunt of the
Hmm.
treasure.
But how do they
Correct.
know
Wow.
what's like? How do they know where to be? As in, like because of the hints that you have previously posted, or and they already run to it, or
Correct. So the way I do it, for example, is I will post a video saying, you know what, I'm going to post the first clue of the first yellow envelope on, let's say, I don't know what's tomorrow, the 22nd of September at 5 p.m. So at 5 p.m., I will release the first clue that will give you an idea of the location for the location of the envelope and the time where I will release the next clue. And at that time, they will know when, where, and how I will release the next clue. So usually when they crack the code, they're already at the location waiting for the next clue to come out, so that they can just solve it and find the envelope.
Wow. So now you know what to do, folks. Just click in the link of the description, Piratas Urbanos in TikTok. So who knows? Maybe tomorrow, maybe at some point, you can find your own treasure. Wow. That's pretty cool. Maybe I will
Thanks,
someday
thanks.
as well.
Hmm.
Now, Marcia,
Tell me.
about your involvement with different groups, especially on Facebook,
Mhm.
because I was joking around earlier on saying that you have a group for almost every single little thing or every
Kind of.
situation. So, I mean, what are they about? Eh, Uh,
Um,
yes, for now,
are,
just
uh,
tell me, what are they about?
well, I need to check first. I don't remember how many of them I mentioned to you, but
Are
I
they
said,
that much?
yeah, there are many of them. Like social, like ones for social sciences, another ones for like to find apartments, another ones to buy and sell things that are like secondhand stuff. Some others for recipes. Which other ones like for recipes? Another one for to find to know if there's certain things in stock in certain stores. I'm not going
Of
to say
course.
names of those stores.
Okay.
What else? Let me tell you. It's just that, yeah, from colleagues, from language teaching and stuff like that. What else? Many yeah, recipes I already mentioned. No, I have a lot of things. That, like for people who come from some from the states that I from the state that I'm from, and whenever they are asking like, "Hey guys, I'm taking a flight on this day. I don't know. Do you want to get to take something to the state with me so then I can bring it with me, so then we can save on the shipment on the shipping." And yeah, like international memes, cat caring tips, university, restaurant. How is it? Restaurant reviews, everything.
Hmm.
What
Wow.
other thing?
And what are the groups that you are involved with the most?
I mean, of course, the ones about food or the ones about recipes, but also the ones. Which are the other ones? Oh, the ones from school. Because, for example, they ask you like, "Hey, do you think that it would be okay if I take this class with this teacher? And do you have any reviews on it?" And you know that you can do something like whatever you say is going to be helpful for them. Not to make them lazy or anything, but to tell them, hey, if this is your learning style, then you should take this with this teacher. They teach in a certain way, whatever. If you feel comfortable with this way, then yes. Or things about, I don't know, like school bureaucracy, things like that, that you can help them with. Or, hey, I can't seem to find this. But that and the food groups or the other ones of the stores, like, hey, do you know if there's this kind of furniture in stock? Have you seen it at the store, or do I need to ask for it? Oh, you need to ask for it. Check the app or things like that. You know what I mean?
Which groups are directly related to what you dedicate to your profession?
Okay, okay, there is one that's called like I think that E, ESL teachers. So then we share a lot of content about like Spanish as a second language. It would be in Spanish.
Okay.
What we do is that sometimes I'm like, no, I really need a book or something, and then I go to those groups and I'm like, hey guys, do you know where I can, I don't know, like find a book for this kinds of children or for adults or this and that, and then they will give me information or they will send me links or they will contact me or about certifications, teacher certification, things like that. So we all help each other.
Nice.
Wow. So, I mean, you have one related to your job, or or some related to your job. You have
Hmm.
some related to your origin,
Hmm.
because as of my own, as I understand, you're from Sinaloa, right? So
Yeah.
it's practically pretty useful to, like, save the shipping if you want to send something that you just can kind of like contact someone who's going there. You're asking for a favor. And which group in which group are you in that you probably don't use it that much, or you just join for the heat of the moment, for so to speak?
Mm, let me see. I'll have to. I mean, because since I don't use it, it should be at the very bottom, right? Um, there are
I agree.
some.
I agree.
Yeah, like this very small group friends, or which are the other ones? Like, mm, no, like, yeah, like I think it's one from apartments that I haven't used because, or which one? Like adopting. Ah, no, I have this one. Like it was adopting dogs and cats. No, but it was like this community of like reforesting, like planting trees, and it's like
Oh,
because I don't really, that's what a friend of mine used to do before, but I don't really, it's not very active at this moment. But yeah, it's kind of like one of the ones that are at the very bottom, like a long time ago. But I mean, it's one of the ones that in which I barely interact anymore. But yeah,
the bottom line, what has been the biggest benefit you have received from being in these many groups?
okay, it's not just, I mean, I am here because of one of those groups. I have made many friends, like real life friends, because of those groups too. I have I, this is one thing that I really like about them. It's not just about making the friends and everything, but also I have been told that I'm wrong many times, and I have learned from that. Yeah, I have been told that I'm
Okay.
wrong, and I have learned from that in discussions and
Or
everything.
okay.
And I really like when that happens to me because then I'm like I can learn something from this, and I can publicly say, "Hey guys, I was wrong. Thank you for having the time to tell me that I was wrong at this."
Oh,
So it's like
Nice.
you get kind of everything. And for example, yeah, I mean, one thing that I also really like is being able to support businesses from like my fellow. It's not country people, but like state people. Let's say like that because then they're like, "Hey, I just started this small business or this small project, and you help me." Yes, of course, we're going to give it diffusion, or we're going to visit it. I'm going to visit it with friends. So like also that helping your community is also nice. So
wow. So, guys, the bottom line, you both have made something out of this tool who initially was for banal purposes, just like to hang around. You are content creators and also part of a big community focused with a specific cause or intentions. So thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for letting our viewers know what they can also do to make their time in social media a little more productive than we usually go. I mean, of course, we use it, just to hang around, to chill and everything, but it can also be used for more useful goals, more useful purposes. So, guys, that's it for today. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for your participation. And that's all for our viewers as well. If you want to check out again, Piratas Urbanos is a session from TikTok that our guest here shared with us today. You can check it out in the description of this video. And Marcia, wow, who knows? Maybe at some point later on, maybe tomorrow, I will join in many groups that I have been invited to. Maybe I'll discover something new. Thanks for the tips and greetings, and everyone have a good night. And that's all for our viewers as well. Goodbye and good
bye.
night. Bang.
Good night.